And the crazy thing is, since the UFC has been around, they've had 3 superstars. 3. That's it. No more, no less. You got Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Conor McGregor. That's it. And I feel like that begs the question whether or not the UFC even really has the ability to build a superstar. I saw some disagreements within the community about what a superstar is. And I thought it was important for me to make a video and kind of stake what my opinion is on the whole matter. A superstar and a star are very different. Very, very different. To me, you have a superstar who is bigger than their sport. They have outgrown MMA. For example, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, superstars. You've never had to watch a single NBA game and you probably know who LeBron James is. Tiger Woods. Nobody watches golf. You know who Tiger Woods is. Superstar. Very, very, very special select group of people. And most people don't make the cut. And it's not a bad thing. It's a difficult task. And the crazy thing is, since the UFC has been around, they've had 3 superstars. 3. That's it. No more, no less. You got Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Conor McGregor. That's it. There's a couple of people teetering on the line. Jon Jones, GSP, they're right outside looking in, but they're not there. I would put them at a funky middle road between star and superstar, but they are no superstar. Like, let's not get it confused. Jon Jones isn't doing over 1 million pay-per-view buys just by himself. It doesn't matter who you put Conor McGregor against. It's getting a lot of eyeballs. Even still to this day, so many years after his prime, he's still pulling numbers like that. It's insane. Now let's go over who I classify as a star today. We got Paddy Pimblett. We got Max Holloway, Alex Pereira. These are people that can always headline cards, whether it be pay-per-views or fight nights, always sell out arenas, and they're very popular, especially us MMA fans, but they don't fit that distinctive category of exceeding the popularity of their sport. And that's a very important distinction. So whenever we're sitting here talking about who is the next superstar, we're not just talking about, oh, who can get a lot of views on YouTube. No, we're talking about somebody who's bigger than the sport. And I feel like this even poses a deeper question. Did you notice something whenever I listed off the superstars within the sport? They're all old. Like, I understand that Conor just fought a couple weeks ago, but that was the first time he's fought in 5 years. And he's broken his leg 2 of the last 3 times he's fought. So I don't know how reliable that is. You know what I mean? We don't have anybody else who transcends the sport. And I feel like that begs the question whether or not the UFC even really has the ability to build a superstar. Brock Lesnar was literally handed to them from the WWE. So they didn't build him. They had a big part of Ronda and Conor, I will say that. I feel like Conor and Ronda carried the majority of that run. The UFC was just there. And I'm not saying that Dana White isn't intelligent with the moves that he makes, but I believe to have a superstar within MMA is extremely difficult. I don't know, maybe Conor McGregor is not a realistic standpoint. Maybe he's just a one-in-a-generation athlete. That's totally possible. But the real question now is whether or not the UFC will survive no longer having a superstar. And what's going to happen if they can't build another? Are we just going to be stuck with the same oversaturated product? I remember 10 years ago, we were talking about how oversaturated it is, and it's still the same way. And that kind of makes you wonder, is that why the UFC started to drift away from the pay-per-view model? Is because they know they can no longer produce another Conor McGregor, and that they're going to be stuck selling at maximum 1 million pay-per-views. Now let's talk about this too. The only time that the UFC has been able to compete with a Conor McGregor card within like the last 5 years is 3 crazy events. The Sphere, UFC 300, and the White House card. Those are the only 3 events that started getting as much traction as a Conor McGregor event. That is an issue. And I know we all were watching Sean O'Malley, and you could tell that they're trying to build this kid into a star. And I love Sean O'Malley. I have no shit to talk about him, but he is certainly not a superstar. He is a star. He will sell. People will come and watch him fight, especially hardcore fans, even casual fans. But he does not transcend the sport. And it could be a very long time until we find someone else who does. How I would phrase it is the UFC doesn't have a star problem. The UFC has a superstar problem. And that is an issue, because nothing else is like the energy of a super hyped fight card to where there's a superstar on it, and the UFC needs to chase that high but they haven't been able to build it. And I don't know if they can. I don't know. If you disagree, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Does the UFC have a superstar problem, or am I just crazy? Let me know.